Zip it. Zip it.
Exhibit A. When a problem comes along, you must zip it.
Welcome back, Nostalgia Hunters. Tonight, we're rewinding to a time when Friday nights meant one thing. Racing to Blockbuster. Oh, I hate you so much. What? We didn't say shit. We didn't say shit. They're like just about to burst.
Well, there was a
He just sitting there, he like slowly puts his arm across the bar. And so you just see it floating next to his head, and then he pulls it back.
and then Mike tries to bite
And
it.
just like, ah.
Welcome back, Nostalgia Hunters. Tonight, we're rewinding back to a time when Friday nights meant one thing. Racing to Blockbuster before all the good copies were gone. Remember frantically searching those blue and yellow aisles? The thrill of snagging the last new release. The dread of late fees. But here's the question. In our instant streaming world, would we actually return to those days? Or are video stores just a be kind rewind memory we've romanticized? Was Blockbuster genuinely cool? Or are we just nostalgic for a simpler time when choosing a movie felt like an adventure? Let's find out. No membership card required.
None whatsoever. Even though Blockbuster
Hey-yo.
did actually require membership cards.
Oh, totally.
That's right.
Charge you tons of late fees.
However, this is kind of like an episode I'm kind of chaperoning a little bit. So I will start out with some of my anecdotal stories of. We'll go with this format. I'm going to talk about kind of my experience real quick with
luck
stuff,
chaperoning all the children.
and then I'll chaperone all of you guys around to let you guys
100%.
tell your stories.
A little field trip, if you will.
Yes.
Sure.
So some of you guys probably don't know. I grew up in a really tiny farm town, and we did not have a block. We did not have a Blockbuster
mentioned
anywhere
that.
near
No.
us.
Never tell.
And it will actually by anywhere near us. There's like the closest one was probably like 30, 35 minutes away in Topeka, Kansas. And anyway, most of my childhood, we would go to the grocery stores and we would rent movies from the grocery stores because they had a video section there because there wasn't like a dedicated chain.
I remember that.
Like
Videos
video
at the grocery store.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't recall.
Yeah, we go to
I don't recall.
Ron's United Supers where we would go, and my mother had the best in at Ron's United Super. That Ron himself would call us up every week and be like, "Hey Chris," my mother's name. "Hey Chris, we got this movie, this movie, this movie, and this movie in this week. Which ones do you want?"
Whoa.
And she would tell him, and he would, and if he had like, he'd usually get like 5 copies of each movie, maybe 10, depending on how big it was. Sometimes only a couple. And she would tell him which ones she wanted, and they would set it aside. And every Tuesday night, we'd go in there and pick up our movies.
Nice.
And we would take those, and then would may or may not end up in a VCR that was attached to another VCR.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we ended up with a whole bunch of movies, like literally thousands of movies over the years. But we rented every one of those movies that way. And so that was like my beginning of like my love for going to just rental chains and stuff like that. So mine is like my viewpoint isn't just strictly Blockbuster or even chains in general, but it's just like that whole feeling of walking through a video rental place and you get to see all those cool covers, or sometimes not cool. Some of them are really stupid, but sometimes they still draw you in anyway with the different genres and whatnot that you got. And I loved walking around and seeing those. And it was just like, as a kid, it was just kind of magical because it was just like this whole world. Like, you don't even know what this stuff is. And it's just this whole new world. And I absolutely love that. But then to kind of bring it around, every once in a while, there would be some movies that like Ron's wouldn't get, or somehow we didn't end up getting it or something like that. Or we passed it by and then wanted to rent it later. Couldn't get it through there. So we'd go to Blockbuster. And my dad worked. He usually would drive to Topeka almost every day for his work and whatnot. So he would pick up some movies. But every once in a while, we would go down there. and going to a Blockbuster store as a kid who already loved like the little bitty section.
No, it was like Mecca.
It was Mecca. It was movie Mecca, like everything. And it was also right across the street pretty much from the theater we went to all the time too. So it was just fantastic walking through and seeing all that, like, and even just seeing like the big counter. I'm like going, this is the only thing you guys do here? Because I was used to a grocery store, right? Like the convenience store, grocery store, movies, all in one. Like, actually seeing a store that was just dedicated to this and it being massive, like the one we went into was massive, just so damn cool. And so I absolutely loved like all like the Blockbuster stuff as a kid. And also another connection I had, this is going to be kind of a personal flex. Street Fighter 2 for the Super Nintendo, there was the Nintendo World Championships for Street Fighter 2, or it was like part Capcom, part Nintendo. And it was held, our regionals was held at Blockbuster Video. And I went there and I won the qualifying for it to get into the one-on-one tournament. I ended up winning. And then in the one-on-one tournament, I was like only like 10 or 11 at the time. And I was by far the youngest person that made the tournament.
Oh, geez.
And I ended up taking second place. And if I would have taken first, I would have went to Las Vegas and competed in like the big, at 11 years old, competed in the big tournament and whatnot.
Oh.
And so, so I have a big love for Blockbuster just for putting that on. And then also like, Street Fighter, it was like a big part of my my childhood and whatnot. So it's like, at least for my formative years, I have a huge love for, the stores. And then there's like stuff like Hollywood Video, like there's other places like that too, but we never really went into those. So I don't have as much connection there. But anyway, that's my story.
Andy, I want to hear your story.
I want to hear Andy's story too.
Okay. Might be too early.
Dude, I was about to say, it's like, I'd rather hear one of you guys first.
Okay,
so I'm also, so here's the thing. I'll say the short version of it. I've never been into a Blockbuster ever. So whoever talks next also, can you paint me a picture? Did they have snacks? Was it just movies? Were the movie covers like plain Blockbuster, or was it like they had actual VHS covers, like cover art?
So in a Blockbuster, at least the ones I had been to, and I'd actually been to several, essentially it was back in the day, like before, like they eventually had DVDs, but my original time there going was when they had VHSs. Mm-hmm. So essentially, imagine if you went and bought a VHS tape, pull the actual cassette out, set it to a side, and then like plastic wrap the cardboard case that it came in. That would be sitting out front for you to look at.
With a bunch
and
of
then
those
behind it would be a bunch of these with the VHS in it.
Oh, look,
so they'd have like 4 or 5 of these stacked deep with the VHS, and then the actual cardboard that it would have come in, but it's like, wrapped in like a plastic thing to make it a little stronger, sitting in front of it. So it's still like walking through a store looking at all the stuff, but then you just grab one of these behind it and it just would have the name of what you're getting on it.
Because I'm a big fan of the cover art of what they used to put out on those.
And then they did the same thing when DVDs came out, where it was just the DVD case that came in, but they had Blockbuster cases behind it.
And to answer your question, at least in my Blockbuster, they did have like theater movie snacks, as in like candy and stuff like that. And
popcorn.
They even had like the prepackaged popcorn and stuff like that you could buy. I don't know if every Blockbuster had that or every retail.
I think it was
everyone I had ever been in.
Okay, then because I don't have that much experience with a ton of Block. It was just like the one in Topeka. They also rented. Another reason why we also went to the one that we went to is they had video games.
Where
my
consoles.
Store,
you could rent a whole console too.
I never actually got to rent a console. I would have rented the heck out of a Neo Geo back then.
My parents would never rent me a console, but I knew they had them there to rent. They would also have different movie magazines. Any of the, I can't think of any titles of them, but magazines that were like all about like movie, like Entertainment
Weekly.
About that.
Yeah,
Weekly.
They had those too. Yeah,
but yeah, they'd have like movie magazine stuff there that you can buy like the latest, whatever.
And TVs all over the place that would play like previews of the movies. And stuff.
That was always awesome.
Yeah. So that should paint a picture.
Thank you.
It was usually much, much bigger than any other video store at the time.
Yeah, and they would have like different sections of like these are the horror section, this is the action section, and the romance section. But the entire outer wall would be like all the new releases.
Yeah.
And then you go behind the curtain and you get the.
Did you actually have
What, you had,
Blockbuster I'd ever been did
R-rated
not have
No, actually, our Blockbuster never saw that, or I never saw. But
I don't think they allow
our
that.
grocery store did, though.
Oh,
It did.
course it-
Yeah,
I don't think Blockbuster
Shit,
allowed
okay.
that in theirs because I
don't
probably
think-
been to
I don't
probably
remember
10
them-
plus Blockbusters.
I don't remember
and
them ever
never once
having
they have
that, but like I do remember going into
You know what he's
some
talking
sort of
about, right?
rental
Oh,
store.
I know.
Okay,
Oh,
just
yeah.
making sure.
I've seen enough
We're talking about the
movies.
porn.
I've seen enough movies and American TV shows to know basically a lot of things.
What I love is like you see, like I'd never been into like we always went to like Blockbuster and stuff like that, so it never had that. But every time you see it in movies, they have like beads and stuff. So like they want to make it very loud when you're going in there
Yeah.
to get porn instead of just having like something like like a curtain or something.
well,
Like
and that's the thing. Like Blockbuster was made to be different. Like you can think of your typical.
wow, what a difference!
Wow. What a
Oh right.
difference.
Okay. Come on, man.
I got you. I got you.
Thank you. Sorry. And the like you think about any typical video store, it was kind of like a record shop, but for movies. Blockbuster was like a library, but for movies. It was clean. It was very well organized. It was huge. It was just completely different than your typical movie store.
Nothing past rated R.
Yeah. And so I'll talk about my like first experience with Blockbuster.
Go for it.
I grew up in Texas. Blockbuster started in Texas. I was born in 1987. Blockbuster started out and then got really popular in the 85 to 87 range. So for my entire life, Blockbuster when I was a kid was just huge. That's where you always went to get videos. However, our family was pretty agnostic between Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. I would say we'd go there just about equal between the two. If we wanted to rent a video game, we always went to Blockbuster. But Hollywood Video,
Which did you
I don't even know if
prefer?
there was a Hollywood Video around where I lived.
Oh,
if there was, we never went.
what was that?
Which did you prefer?
What I think I preferred Blockbuster. I think so. It's hard to remember that.
There was
far
a
back.
Hollywood Video that was actually near our Blockbuster. We rarely went there because it just wasn't. It wasn't the same. There was something about it, but
Yeah. It at least where we lived in, Texas, Hollywood Video did seem like it was second fiddle to Blockbuster, but at least for us, it was about equivalent for my family. So, I mean, we were very accustomed to going in there, renting movies and video games basically every single week, having to deal with making sure you return it before you get late fees, rewinding the video. We got really good at, making sure that the video that you picked up that was behind the cover was actually the video that you were going to rent, because sometimes it wasn't.
Yeah.
And yeah, just lots of interesting times.
when
back
you
then.
rented video games, did they give you the original manual with it, or did they give you a reprint that they made? Which is illegal, by the way, but they all did it.
I think most of the time it was the original manual. I think it was
Really?
just if they lost it, they would have like a reprint. Yeah, most of the time it was original manual.
I don't think I ever saw an original manual anytime we rented a game, but yeah, it was usually I never got anything that was brand new. So
Yeah, we were always going there for the brand new stuff.
I'm not sure if I ever really rented many games at all from Blockbuster.
Well, I remember I told you all this story in the Nintendo 64 episode. Shout out to the Nintendo 64 episode. Go see it. About how our family rented an N64 when it first came out, and we took it on that camping trip.
oh yeah,
Yeah. And I just remember.
But you
playing the
rented
heck-
it from Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Because you could rent an entire game console. is what
Oh,
we're saying.
shoot,
Yeah,
okay,
not just the
I didn't know
games. You
that.
could rent
Yeah.
the console too.
We're blowing Andy's mind here.
But that's the funny. Like when we were talking about like going into places and like sampling the N64, because I was going to do a callback as well. Like the place that I went and was playing N64, my exposure to it was at a Blockbuster. Like I saw it a couple times at Walmart, but the more times that I messed with it was actually a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
My first time for N64 was Best Buy, I think. So
There was another good spot for it. Another good spot for it.
Yeah, no, you mentioned like Blockbuster and what you said, Hollywood Video, whatever. Like there was two places we went to, but it wasn't Hollywood Video. We went to Blockbuster, and the other one is technically, not technically at all, is something you can still do today. everywhere. People don't think about the fact, I think a lot of times,
I know
that
what you're
you
gonna
can
say.
also go to your library and get this
local
stuff.
library.
You're talking about it's like a library. I was like,
For
going, so
free.
today is like a library.
Yeah, a library today is like a
Physical
library.
media, like
Like my library had a whole lot of this kind of stuff too. But essentially, what I was talking about when you take the actual case, what they would do is like flatten it and then put it in like a plastic sleeve, so it was like super thin, and you would just be at this like big kind of container, and they're all alphabetized, and you can just sit there and flip, flip, flip.
Or was
flip,
it the
flip,
Dewey
flip, flip,
Decimal
flip.
System?
No, they were alphabetized, and you just flip through it, and you could just randomly discover movies, and you just take it up to like the front desk. They would go on the back, grab the video, give the video to you, and then keep that little sleeve thing until it's returned, and then put it back out there. And there were so many movies that I just randomly discovered, just flipping through that and finding, like, I was judging a book by its cover, finding a movie cover that I was like, "What's this? This seems interesting." And like that's how I found a lot of my movies. And to this day, I still go to the library and get movies.
it's
I
a good.
use
I know a lot of
their,
people who do that. It's a good spot to do it.
I mean,
Canva,
it's free.
or
It's free.
they have an app, Canva or something, where you can stream also. So
Oh,
use your libraries, people.
use
You're
your-
already
yeah.
paying for it.
Libraries have streaming?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, my Lord.
I didn't know they had streaming, but I know they have like ebooks and stuff through
got-
libraries.
yeah, they
so
got
it
all
makes
good
sense they would
ebooks
have
too.
streaming.
They have a way to basically loan out the IP for
Oh, Libby
a certain amount
is-
of time, just like they always have.
I'll say this. My wife's a librarian, so I know way too much about this. But Libby is an app you can use that gets you ebooks, audiobooks as well.
Ah,
Yeah.
well, go figure.
Yeah. So I'll dive into my stuff, which is there was no Blockbuster in India. We just went to this store that was extremely white in my memory. I don't know why it was so white inside of it.
Not the
And-
people. The
I was like, people or the walls?
The store was white.
Okay.
And so initially we would get cassettes, and there was no mistaking that these were bootleg. Like literally sketch pen written on, like, this is this movie, this is Lion King, right? And this is,
Why is lion spelled wrong? No.
this is Lloyd.
The
This is
Lion King,
Loin
yeah.
King.
Lloyd.
Or the Loin King, yeah. If you go behind,
That's a different movie. That's
you
behind the
go
curtain.
behind the beads, you know.
It's the Mortal Kombat, Bloodsport, and things like
Bloodsport.
this that we would find. True Lies, all these initial ones. I think we saw.
How was the quality?
Quality was good, but it was as good as their copy machine was. So
The
basically,
12th print of a print.
Yeah, do you know what the operation was?
some
you had it.
kids, they got one original, and then clearly they would just put two VCRs together. And I think initially it wouldn't go fast. It was the length of the movie runtime had to run through to copy it.
That's how my parents set up. That's exactly how.
So
that
they
worked.
were so limited by how long the movie was. So every 3 hours they could only make one copy unless they had several of these machines, which they did not. So there would be moments we'd go and there'd be literally say, "Sir, we're making copies right now. You come back." Like literally be like, "Come back in 2 hours. We'll have a fresh copy ready." They're just back there just making copies right there. And it was just like, it didn't seem weird at all. And then we got, like you said, for a long time, we didn't have a VCR. And then my uncle, who came to USA, he came back and he brought us a VCR.
Oh, VCR back with him? Wow.
Yeah. And then he brought us another VCR. Which
Did he
was-
declare it at customs?
I don't think people didn't care back then.
You just put a handle on it, made it look like a suitcase.
Yeah. And he was, I think initially, he was in Arizona. So he brought it back early 90s. And then he brought one more back. So it turned into like, now we can record our own.
Yeah.
So I have a
There's second
question about
bootleg
that.
operation in the home where the copies would get terrible because you just have this
Copy of a copy of a copy.
weirdness because the tape would sometimes judder.
quality of your machine and the quality of the tape that you use,
Yeah.
and if you recorded from the original, all factored into
I
how
think
good
they were
the
all
copy
like
was.
TDK or whatever.
Around
the
what
company
time
Yeah,
was this? Like,
making the
We
tape.
actually
around
use
what
a lot
year
of
was
TDK,
this?
so
Early to mid 90s.
Okay, the reason I asked this, and I was like, "What?" My first question is like, the outlets in India, are they compared to here? Are they completely different? I
So
assume.
we have to get this giant ass fucking inverter, alternator, whatever it was, to converter, is we just call it that. but it's literally a step down.
Oh, you guys are on 220.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, we're on
220.
110 here.
So it is a step up, I think.
It's a step
instead
down.
of it. So you have to like plug it into this this hot thing that then plugs into the actual wall.
Okay, because like the fact that he brought something from America, I was like the plugs would be different. So I was curious, like if you already had like
No.
adapters and stuff.
People
so.
would try to actually fly through the West Coast and through Singapore so that they could buy in the Singapore airport, and those would run on 220.
Okay.
Or 210, 220. So they would try to do that, or they would try. Dubai wasn't that great back then yet. So they would try to come through Singapore, and Singapore would have a lot of electronics.
Okay.
And so people would actually buy electronics in Singapore and then
And
bring
somewhere
it.
around the mid 90s, they started putting power supplies and a lot of stuff that would handle both. So yeah, it kind of
Because
depends
it
on
made me
what
I
wonder
said
when he's talking about like
mid-June.
the American stuff. I was thinking like I think about like DVDs today and everything, like how there's different region specific types of
Oh,
DVDs,
that was just
and they
how-
won't play everywhere. And I was like, I don't think they ever had that for VHS, but the plug would definitely be an
signal
issue.
standard.
Plug is definitely an issue.
He's talking
And-
about greed.
and he brought a lot of cassettes too. Like a lot of Tom and Jerry. I had like a proper nice boxed cassette. Lion King, I had proper nice box, which we made copies. I think we told the guy to get free cassettes. We said, hey, we can give you some originals to make copies, and so we made that deal. Where we'd give him copies. We'd give him movies from America and be like, here's some cassettes, and they would make copies. And then they would give us free movies as well because of that deal. So, and this, I would say mid-90s, I think this ran into almost early 2000s when we first started getting our first DVD player. And then it went into CDs. I know we haven't entered that era, but like it went into CDs, and which DVD wasn't out yet. It was just CDs, and people would put 800
Laser
megabytes.
disc.
800
those
megabyte
are
movie, and it was 2 discs. And then we got a CD writer. Everything through this uncle who kept coming to India brought an entire computer that his company here was going to trash. And so he brought this server grade computer, and then brought a CD-ROM, and then brought a CD read writer thing. That was like, initially we got like 1x, 2x speeds. Would take forever.
I know this is a tangent, but speaking of CDs, did you know that music CDs are making a comeback? Mm-hmm. Like I read about this.
Like records.
Really?
Almost every time you can buy a new record for a new album that comes out, you also get a cheaper option for the CD.
For the CD.
version.
I mean,
Yeah.
the CD
I think
is super
physical
high
media,
quality.
because we were talking about this earlier. I think physical
Yeah.
media is just having
Physical
a
media in
resurgence.
general is coming back, but CDs specifically, I hadn't heard about.
Yeah, and I was
until
gonna bring that all around, like come back to that, like it. But
Yes.
anyway, let's.
So to bring that conversation back really is like all bootlegging. My first, if my uncle hadn't brought a CD from America, every game that I played, Frozen Throne, World of Warcraft, was 5 CDs I got from this bootlegger, which was like literally an internet center that would give CDs out. I'll come home and install it and be like, oh, my third disc has a giant scratch on it. It's not working. And then go back to those guys. I had no idea you needed a video card or anything. Like, Wolfenstein 3D came out. Or Wolfenstein Escape from Castle was also a thing. I would bring it back, put the CD, install the game. And with PC games, you install it, you have it. It's not like a console game, right? So the CDs like actually is a much better value if you have a computer. But in India, consoles didn't sell as much as PCs did. So they had more PC video game discs. Doom games, Doom 3 also, I played it on a rented thing, and you're always scared that it's 4 CDs and you don't know how many computers have scratched this shit up. And the game is cracked. That's how I learned how to copy the cracked EXE over and put it, because you just install it and you're like, it's not running. And then the guy would give you like instructions in a sheet that he hand wrote, and it's like, copy from this folder. And it's like, not everyone installs to the same folder, but it's like, copy this file. I didn't know the copying had to replace the file.
Yeah.
Sorry, now I became a pirate episode. But
Shout out to the Napster episode. Go watch that.
it was all rental, and there were movies you would get, and you would be that not only is the copying bootleg, that the movie itself was like a camera in the theater bootleg. Like it
I've
was
seen some of
bootleg
those.
through and through. And so you were like, oh, there's someone with the camera print came out. And like in the early days of internet, that not everyone had internet in India, they would still download those, put them in CDs, and then people would come get it. And then the first question you ask them is, how good is the print? Is what you ask, because you know this movie came out 2 weeks ago. So they would always be like, oh, we already have Harry Potter here. And you're like, well, how good is the print? And so they would put it on in their DVD player right there, show us, and we were like, that looks good, so we'll rent it. We'll take it, come home, and then make a copy immediately.
Could you just download that on Napster? Or
So this
whatever.
episode's about Blockbuster and renting movies. And he's over there like, oh, matey!
That was his
No,
experience.
All was the high seas.
all I'm getting from this is that my family and your family would have been friends.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so speaking of the legal way of renting movies, let's talk about late fees. So those of you who did experience Blockbuster, how often did y'all run into late fees?
I have a story about late fees.
I was a kid, so never. I'll be quick.
So the first Blockbuster, like when I was a kid, that we go to was like in this like part of a shopping strip mall, and my father returned a video like 15 minutes before closing or something like that, but it was on the day it had to be returned to avoid a late fee, and then he got charged a late fee. And I have vivid memories of him bitching out the people at Blockbuster. Like, I literally fucking bought this in the day it was due, 15 minutes before you guys close. And you just throw it in the bin and still give me a late. And after that, he refused to ever do business with Blockbuster again because he was charged a late fee for
a
one
man of
day of
character.
video.
How
when
much
he
is the
turned it in.
late fee?
Well, like $3 or something like that.
So back in
Something
the
like
day
that.
when they first came out,
Essentially, like charge another
it was
day
$1
rental.
a day. And so it was really easy to be like, you know what, I'll hold on to it one more day. It's just
Wait, how much is a
$1.
rental? How much would it cost to rent one? Usually?
Oh,
If you remember.
I don't know the original, but I remember it being like essentially like I remember when I was old to recall the price. I mean, it was like something like $3.49 or something.
Yeah, it
ridiculous
was like
that.
less
and
than
it got,
$5.
and it got you like 2 or 3 days. And then if you were late, it was like another $3 or something like that on top of it.
Holy, so that's a huge percentage of.
it's a huge percentage of the price itself, but it was
But
just
it's
$1.
overall still
Like,
cheap. Okay,
$1
yeah.
a day. You know, and a lot of times what we would do, or my family, we would rent like 5-6 movies at a time or something, right? And we're like, we're gonna go through all of these in a week, and then we don't get to all of them. We're like, well, I still want to watch it, so I don't want to go bring it back, so might as well just pay the $1 or whatever late fee. So we hit late fees a lot.
I wonder if they had like if they're either different in different areas or if maybe they've like kind of gone up and down with the
It
late
fluctuated.
Because I remember it being more than just $1 a day.
Yeah.
Their revenue, I remember this from reading about them. I think their revenue was like several hundred million on late fees.
800 million in 2000. 800 million on late fees alone. It represented 16% of their total revenue was just
Holy
late fees.
shit.
So apparently there was also a big fiasco. In 2005, they switched their strategy and decided to run a promotion, or they basically changed their strategy to where it's no late fees.
No late fees. Yeah.
But what really happened was after your movie was 7 days late, they charge you the full price of the
Yeah,
movie.
they would just say you bought the movie.
It's like, oh, okay, it's your movie now.
Yeah.
Which is actually funny because
And it wasn't the price they paid for it, it was retail.
The retail price, yeah.
my wife, they rented N64 games, GameCube games, and stuff like that, and she loved the Nintendo 64, like Super Mario RPG, and then there's the GameCube one, like Thousand Year Door, and they rented that over and over and over again to the point where they just offered to buy it. Like they didn't even. I don't even think they ran into late fees or anything like that. I think at some point they just offered to buy it, and because she just played it that much or played those games that much.
I want to say there was like one game that we actually did end up just letting it run over and we kept. I think it was like Brave Fencer Musashi or something for PlayStation
Dude, I
1.
wish you still had that. That's pretty rare.
I loved that game.
It's a
so
good
much.
game. It's a good game. It's
and-
nobody knows it, but it's
But
good.
the reason why, though, we ended up doing it was because we lost it. And then we later found it and we're like, oh man, well, it's already way past time. We can't go and return it now.
I wish I would have known about that game as a kid. I liked it. I only played it for the first time a couple of years ago. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny about that whole late fee thing is, like, I'm sure this will eventually come up anyway, is the idea of when Netflix came along with their mail rental business. Mm-hmm. The idea of paying a late fee is you're just like, screw you. Like, I just should owe you this money, whatever. But with Netflix's model, having it be like, this is your monthly fee, period. And here's how many movies you can have out at one time.
It was brilliant.
You're essentially having the same thing happen where if you keep the movie, you're just charged again the next month. But
it feels less bad.
It feels different. Yeah, because you're just like, well, I already know I have this monthly fee regardless of whether I ever return this movie. I could spend, what was it, like $12 a month for the next whole year and just have this one movie. And I've now spent, was it $144 or whatever it is? But you don't think about it because it's just your monthly fee.
Yeah, it's just the price of membership.
Yeah,
I think we're okay because it's predictable. Where you're like, there's no surprise anything, and also it's just also like the mental tension of like, oh shit, I need to return this thing. Otherwise, you're like, if I don't return it, I'm not gonna get a new one. It's fine. Or like, I feel like I need a new movie. Then you go like, okay, let me mail.
Now,
this
how
back.
many people were actually part of the Netflix mailer?
I
with
was
DVDs?
not. I was aware of it and never really participated in it because I still went to a local movie store when I wanted a movie because at that particular time, I was near enough one. Like I was just a couple minutes away. And so I'm like going, I could just go and rent the same thing rather than wait for it to go through the mail. And I also hated going to getting basically taking the mail to the post office and stuff like that. And so,
See, I didn't have to go to a post office. I just had the mailbox on my house.
pick it up at the mailbox.
So,
I guess I don't know if maybe I just didn't realize you could do that at the time. I just thought you had to go to the post office to drop stuff off. And I'm like, well, I just go and rent the damn thing. It's right there.
Redbox had their own drop off things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Walmart
hated
and stuff like
Redbox,
that,
and we can
but-
talk about that.
Yeah.
But no, I was like an early adopter of Netflix. Like they hadn't been around very long, and I got in with them well before anyone knew about them, and well before the streaming stuff ever happened.
It's a Netflix hipster.
But the reason, the reason I like Netflix is because I watch a ton of movies, and to this day I still watch a ton of movies. And if you think about it, every single movie you rent from Blockbuster, you say it was $3.50, but a monthly fee with Netflix was like $12. So after 3 movies, it's the same amount of money. And
you
I
have,
was
like, 2
going
movies at a
through
time?
like fucking 15 movies a month because I would just get it, watch it, send it right back. So it was just like, for me, money wise, it was a smarter decision.
Another reason for me is like when I just go back to my hometown with my parents and go watch movies with them. Like I did a lot of that. So yeah, like it's funny. The Netflix thing flew over me because I was watching a ton of movies back then. But yeah, it was absolutely a great deal. And for whatever reason, I just never partook.
Yeah. I mean, our family was the same situation as you. I know you all say I don't ever watch any movies, but trust me, we watched a lot of movies. At least my parents did. Maybe I just didn't. And yeah, it just made a lot of economic sense to be.
I'm trying to think. I moved out of my parents' house the first time when I was like 21. So I would have been 04, and I had a Netflix subscription, I think, for a year or two before that. So maybe 02. Does anyone have the information as to when Netflix started?
way before that.
Well, I know it was before that. Obviously, I wouldn't have had a subscription if it wasn't before that. But I was just curious, like, how many years they've been around before I got with
Can't
them.
remember. I mean, it was at least earlier than 2000.
I think it was 98, 9, because it was the .com boom time.
2000 was when the whole Blockbuster Netflix deal thing happened, which let's talk about that.
Okay.
I want to
So-
see how much information you have is accurate because people report this wrong a lot.
Well, okay, it'd be great if you could correct me when I say anything wrong. So September 2000, Netflix co-founders went and flew to Dallas to meet with the Blockbuster CEO with a proposal. So Netflix were the ones that proposed to Blockbuster to sell themselves to Blockbuster for $50 million.
50 million, yeah.
Netflix would then handle the online operations for Blockbuster. .com was a big thing. And then Blockbuster would promote Netflix. Blockbuster would be the promotion in the stores.
Yep.
And apparently Blockbuster laughed them out of the room, basically saying, no way.
Because they're probably like, oh, it'll cannibalize our stores. We already have these stores. Like,
Well, everything, because I've actually listened to like several historical like podcast documentary type stuff about this. Apparently, the big reason is like they felt it was extremely overvalued for what they were asking for.
Well, yeah. So my notes at least say, at the time, this was just after the .com bubble burst. And so people have no faith in the internet at this point. And Netflix is all like, hey, we'll handle your online operations. And Blockbuster's like, we don't want online operations. And Netflix had, at that time, fewer than 300,000 subscribers compared to the millions of people that are shopping at Blockbuster.
Yeah. And they're just like, you're not worth like half that. So it wasn't necessarily like it was a problem with their product per se. It was just like, you're not worth that much.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it sounds like they laughed him out of the room because exactly, it's like the .com, like there just wasn't, the value wasn't there. They have all their stores. They'll cannibalize their stores. They don't have any faith in like they're like even the infrastructure for doing something like that is kind of crazy. Like I would laugh if I was Blockbuster at that time. I would have laughed him out of the room.
Blockbuster took until 2004 to open a Blockbuster online, which I don't think I ever knew existed.
I knew about that too as soon as they did, and I actually had that and Netflix. And the only reason I had the Blockbuster one is because they were trying to compete with Netflix, and the way they would do it is like Netflix is just like they mail you your DVD, you mail it back. And then when they get it, they'd send you the next one in your queue. Well, Blockbuster would allow you to do is instead of mailing it back, if you wanted to, you could actually go to a store, return it there, and get a free rental right off their shelf. So you didn't have to wait for the however many days for it to mail there and mail back. And then while you're watching the one that you got off the shelf, the Blockbuster store you return it to would mail it back. And they'd send the next one in your queue, and you would just have like the however many days to return the one you got. So essentially, you like got a free rental while you're waiting for the next one to get sent to you.
Okay.
So I had that one for a while too.
It seemed like a pretty good plan, but the problem was it was just way too late. Netflix at that point had already grown so much, and it was the one that had all the momentum, and basically led to Blockbuster's downfall.
That's the thing that everyone says that's wrong.
Okay.
So actually, the bigger piece of what led to Blockbuster's downfall is I don't remember the specific company name, and I wish I would have looked this up before I came over here. But essentially, there was a company that bought Blockbuster, and then as part of the whole owning, they transferred a bunch of the debt over under the Blockbuster name. And then after that, because like Blockbuster was doing quite well, like they weren't having problems at all with finances. They transferred the debt under the Blockbuster name and then sold Blockbuster, and the debt went with it.
I think it was.
And so that's the big, that might be right. I don't remember exactly what it was, but that's a big piece that would fuck them up is like, we were doing good. You bought us, attached your debt to us, and sold us with your debt.
That sounds like that's probably that happened.
Private equity,
but also at that time, like that is when like people were starting to do more with like online video and stuff like that. Yeah, and so like the writing was on the wall with Blockbuster.
But I'm saying without that debt,
so
they may have been able to transfer over.
Do you think they would? Yeah. Do you think they would have? Yeah. I guess that was where my question was going. Was like, do you think they would have been able to compete with Netflix, who already had all the momentum? They're already known by that time. Everybody knew who they were.
Sticking with the brick and mortar system, if they never transferred off that, absolutely not.
Yeah,
but I felt if not for that debt situation, maybe they would have been able to have more financial power with transferring what they're focusing on, and maybe they could have still been.
That would have taken some great leadership.
At least according to my notes, the leadership at the time didn't believe in streaming, didn't believe in the mail-in model as well. Like they basically thought that everything Netflix was a failure and was going to be a failure, and they stuck to that.
But part of that leadership came with the buyout stuff that happened. There were different leadership changes. That's the piece that people miss a lot. Is like, if not for that, it could have been a completely different story. It might have still ended up exactly the same, but there was a chance it could have been completely different if not for when that company was bought, leadership was switched out, and the debt was attached to Blockbuster.
They couldn't shed their. I think the other thing was also they could not shed their. I think there were like 400 Blockbusters even at that point of time.
Yeah,
it was too many, and they were not ready to. It wasn't that those stores were running negative. fully, but they were not ready for massively shift
Yeah.
the strategy fully. Like you said, they came saddled with debt anyway. So they were like, we need to really be profitable. Netflix is doing this. Let's do this quickly now. And like, okay, Netflix is now saying streaming instead of like just mailing things. And so Netflix being a total, here's another thing, and all of us know being in a tech company, for a company that's just born to be online is so much easier to pivot and like grow, because their roadmap on Netflix, I'm sure years ahead itself, they knew that, oh, we should do streaming. Versus Blockbuster
Did anybody know Blockbuster actually did streaming too?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They just did not have the technical prowess.
Their
or people to do
streaming
that.
like platform. Like I tried that out. It was garbage.
They just didn't have the skill set.
So here's something I didn't know. Do y'all remember Circuit City?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, and I really did not know this, in 2008, Blockbuster bought Circuit City.
To kill them too?
For $1 billion,
took him down with them.
familiar.
and then Circuit City months later went bankrupt.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Wow, there had to have been something going on with that.
Like I
deal.
said, I've listened to and
Inside.
watched several documentaries about the whole Blockbuster like thing. And that's the big thing that people like point out. Everyone's like, Netflix killed Blockbusters. Like, actually, no, they didn't. It's they were a piece of it, but
They
killed
like,
themselves.
they killed there was a lot of reasons why they actually killed themselves, but like Netflix was the main antagonist. Sure.
Well, it's the, again, I wouldn't call it the main antagonist. It's the main people that people like in the world think of, because Netflix was growing as Blockbuster went down, but it was actually, correlation doesn't mean causation. Like it didn't, they were happening at the same time, but it wasn't necessarily because of each other.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like that deal in 2000, had it gone the other way, Blockbuster would probably be around still. That's my.
I don't know. Would their leadership have let Netflix?
I was like, I don't know if they would necessarily be around for that either.
If that went sour, Reed Hastings would have left and gone started.
Here's
something
what I
else.
think would have happened is Netflix's leadership would have taken over once streaming and all that got so much popular.
Well, that was not what was. If they were laughing them out of the room.
No,
And
I'm
even
saying
if, let's
if
say-
it had gone differently,
If they had gone differently,
if it had been amicable and they continued to grow, I think that's what would have happened.
All right, let's put a pin in the leadership talk and the corporate talk, and let's move on.
This is
to
not
like,
Star Wars Episode
this
1.
is, so basically, we've talked about our experiences in rental stores, or in like I guess a version of rental store, bootleg rental store.
I still pay rent.
rental store. What is?
I still rented them.
Without
Okay.
without spoiling your basically your reveal of whatever your overall opinion are going to be, what do you guys think about, like, do you like the trend, like with our streaming services and stuff like that? Do you guys like where it's at right now? Do you dislike where it's at, since that's the obvious evolution of where we came from?
So I do have a bone to pick with streaming
Let's
like that.
let's keep it concise.
I think with the way things have happened nowadays, with like they're trying to figure out with their algorithms what you want to watch, it makes it harder to find just new discoveries. Because if you go on Netflix, since we were talking about Netflix, go on Netflix and you go to their latest and you see all the movies. And then you go to the next thing is like Blockbusters or whatever. Half of them are the same fucking movies. And then you go to like whatever next category, half of them are the same fucking movies. So you go through all these different categories and they're showing you the same 15 movies over and over and over again. So how do you discover random things that you've never seen before? Because they're not even showing them to you.
Are they popular because you keep showing them to people so they pick it because they're not going deep enough to find it? Or is it because they're the best movies?
But even if you're like, oh, well, I'm looking for this. So you like go into one of their little search section, like I'm going to search rom-com or whatever. And it's going to show you the same movies that you just saw on the home screen. So it's like you don't have the ability that you used to have in these places like Blockbuster, where you can just browse and find something new that you had no idea of.
Find shit like the Trauma movies, like Toxic Avengers,
Exactly,
and stuff like that. That was never
Just like,
anywhere,
would
but
never
you saw it
show
in a
up.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, and so like
Cool.
that's one of the things
Yeah.
that your library still allows for, because it's just all the stuff they have. Granted, they also have to still go with the like buying things that people will potentially actually check out, so they're not necessarily going to find randomness there, but you're going to find it a lot more often than you will on the streaming services because they're just showing you the ones that they think, oh, this one's super popular, so it's put it in front of them. Maybe they'll click on it and watch it for a while and be on our platform.
Well, so not only that, but like especially Netflix, right, are coming out with original movies now, and a lot of those movies are always catered to what is going to be popular. They only want to make blockbusters. And so a lot
Except
of
for
the
K-pop Demon Hunters that they had no confidence in, and then it ended up becoming a blockbuster anyway.
well, that one was a rarity. But like, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Most of the things that they come out with are going to be things that have that mass appeal, and so you have less exposure to independent or art films.
There's another category with those that I think you're missing too. There are the ones like that where it's going to be like the ones that think they're going to mass appeal. But I also noticed they do a lot of low budget cookie cutter, like Hallmark style movies
that have mass appeal.
Well, yeah, okay, I'll give you they may have mass appeal, but they're not like the big things that people are going to necessarily watch as much.
Right,
but they're all exactly the same kind of movie, like Hallmark does.
You have the blockbusters and the schlock. You have the blockbusters and the schlock.
And stuff like that, though. Like, their strategy behind that is like they need people to retain their reoccurring revenue. And so they need their high quality movies, their blockbusters, but then they also need their schlock because it's all new content for you to keep consuming.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another thing I don't really like that much about it is like it's literally meant to be to keep people from churning away from the service, and
it's just worse.
That's where I was going with it.
I just wish they'd make it easier for you to discover randomness. When I go through different categories, show me different things, not the same 15, 20 movies in every single category.
The discovery is also you're trying to navigate with the remote that's not meant for that kind of navigation on a computer screen that's not a computer screen, but rather just a giant TV. So you're also very limited of to type and search is also so cumbersome, but then also what you're doing, right? You're looking for it. So it's not like, let me quickly scroll through tens and tens of movies. It's very limited by that. Versus if you're at a library and you just have a stack, it's still just way faster to go through and be like, oh, that looks interesting. Because they're also not ordering by a specific thing. And then
when you're looking through stuff like that, they're not paying attention to you and what might get you to watch something. No. It's just stuff that's there, so you can just browse random nonsense.
That's the thing, because Netflix is got its algorithm of oh, this guy watched this, and you watched these 10 movies, so I'm going to recommend this home screen for you, plus the overall slop of what's happening in the country today. Versus a library is just I just need to put them in alphabetical order and a genre segregation, and that's it. And so they don't care. They just make sure that popular movies are there. And I don't think I've ever actually seen a movie on Netflix and been like, oh, I should watch it. I've usually discovered things through Rotten Tomatoes or just searching, going hey, what are the big movies of this year?
I'll see a trailer on YouTube.
It's somewhere else where I get the whole idea of what are the movies to watch. And then I go to the streaming service. Mm-hmm. I've never picked a random movie and oh, let me watch it. Maybe it's just me.
My YouTube is my almost find random things nowadays. I'll just see a trailer or something. I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. Click on it. I'm like, oh, that seems interesting. And then I go and add it to my IMDb watch list. And that way I'll remember that I want to go watch that at some point. And then it'll alert me when it's on whatever streaming platform.
Rental, there was also, you could sometimes have the dude at the rental who just be like, I've seen it. This one's good. Because they would have picks.
Oh, you don't want that one. You want this one.
You want this one. Where he's like, I've seen it. It's like this. Or you just look at the cover and you be like, that looks interesting. Should I watch it? And they'll tell you or not. They had a guy with opinions also over there.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of why I like IMDb, because it gets you a similar thing like that to where, because it's all people like us that have gone and rated it. I don't love, think about it. I will look at Rotten Tomatoes, but I specifically look at the audience score. I do not care about the critics score.
There's 2 or 3 critics that I pay attention to that are aligned, or at least can explain themselves well enough to see if whether I'd be aligned with their opinion or not. So even if they don't like something, I might like it, and that's it. When it comes to critics, that's all. Otherwise, audience score.
Yeah, so I'll go on IMDb, and if a movie's under a certain number of stars, I'll just be like, you know what? I'm not even going to waste my time with it,
Dude, if
unless
it's-
there's something specifically
is
or
it
an actor
5 or
specifically I
is
want to
it
watch.
10?
If it's in the 4.5,
If it's less than 6, it's a much less likely that I'm going to spend my time with it, unless there's somebody in it specifically I like. Like there's this movie I'm about to watch called Trouble Man, but it's got Michael Jai White. I really like Michael Jai White, and I think he should be a much bigger actor than he is.
he should be.
But the movie's rated 4.5 stars. And I'm like, normally they would make me not watch it, but the trailer looked good, and I like Michael Jai White, so I'm gonna watch it.
There's a golden zone for bad movies, though. If you look at like an IMDb rating of like 4 to 5.5, I can't remember. I actually got a shout out to Adam. Hi, Adam. I know this is kind of your rating, but there's like this golden zone of terrible movies where if it's just that bad, it's a lot of times very entertaining for like, you know, the entirely wrong reasons of what they intended.
Yeah.
But still
Okay.
very entertaining. And he swears by that rule. And I've watched actually quite a few movies that are in that category. Sure enough. Actually, one of the things, you know, I said I liked walking through like Blockbuster video or just like a video store in general. My modern day version, you guys can't see this, but my modern day version is I bring up like essentially this is kind of like my IMDb list pretty much.
Yeah.
If I am interested in something, I grab it. I may not necessarily watch it. And what I'll do is I won't put it like
He's looking
in
at
any.
Plex.
I won't put it.
Yeah.
In, yeah,
For those at home, he's bringing up his Plex.
I was
interface.
trying not to name names to keep all that out. But anyway, I just have a ton of movies here that I have paid for. And wait, these used to be, did they make this change? Wait, hold on. Manage library. Wait, what's going on?
You're in the
Oh,
recommended
library. Oh,
section.
there we go. Okay, they changed this. They put this recommended thing in here. Anyway, this is my version of walking down the aisles of Blockbuster right now because I will have grabbed something maybe years ago and I'll just start scroll. Like I'll even start at a random letter and I'll just start like going, I'll just start scrolling and be like, oh man, I haven't seen The Last Starfighter in forever or The Last of the Mohicans.
The lawnmower, man.
Yeah,
Lawnmower
and this is like my version of walking through Blockbuster right now because we don't have that anymore, and we probably never will again. Legend of Billie Jean. This is something I watched as a kid, loved it. Actually, I watched it with my wife, and she ended up liking it quite a bit too. But yeah, a lot of these movies I haven't seen, but I would at some point be like, oh man, that seems like a fun. Let's watch it. Like I haven't watched this one. I have no clue what it is. But that looks like a sci-fi movie. I'm just like, I'll check that out. Why not? And so
So you
this
use
is my
this for the
version.
same reason that I use IMDb.
Exactly,
Because
exactly.
like I'll be able to just scroll through that, and even if it's not on a streaming service, like it'll be rentable somewhere, and I'm like, let's watch that, and I can go rent it on some service.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, we're being pretty hard on Netflix and streaming. However,
No.
the convenience of it is pretty freaking amazing.
No, like I'm all for the convenience of at the click of a button I can watch a movie. That's fantastic.
Restreaming Fracture,
but-
I'd agree with you.
But I just like I said, it's the discovery of something new that I really miss about places like Blockbuster. And like we were talking about this before we started recording, like it wasn't Blockbuster, but it was like home video, or it's like some little video rental shop. There's like a very small shop right next to a pizza place. And I was like, one of these weekends, we're going to go up there and just do it old school. We're going to walk to the video store, find a movie we want to rent, grab a pizza next door, come home, have some pizza and watch a movie. And the place closed down before we had a chance to do that. Oh. So I'm like, if another place like that opened up and just did it right, give you that nostalgic feeling of walking through and like finding a movie, like I would absolutely go check that place. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do it all the time, but like I would absolutely want to do it because it's just the way you discover something new.
My
That's-
view is
oh,
more
go
about just to before you
go
do
ahead.
it. My view is just more about I want Blu-rays, and it's hard to find Blu-rays in physical stores, and I don't want movie makers to stop making physical media for the movies. So it's if there's a gap for something like that to come happen, because Blu-ray is great quality and I don't need to trust my internet connection at that moment, and I don't know if the streaming service has put up the Blu-ray HD, the beautiful print version, or they just have a normal 1080p version.
Or if it's the cut you want. Or,
If the cut I want, if it's not I want.
Yeah.
What I buy is mostly I try to get Criterion Collection or whatever because it has a little more to it, but that's the value of it being in physical media format, in that I don't need to It used to be a convenience before you said the streaming fracture on the side of like now they're all broken up and there's so many movies in so many different places.
Services and
Yeah.
and now they're all getting so
now it's
expensive.
easier for me to be, I have a Blu-ray, I'm just going to put it down and watch the movie versus let me Google, where is it watchable? Okay, I have to pay money to rent this, to watch this. And we did that while we were reviewing movies for this, right? So I just find that physical media is easier, and then a place to go physically buy it is even more convenient.
With physical media also, like if you're somebody that likes to go beyond just watching the movie, if you like enjoy movies so much you want to know more about it, with the physical media you get commentaries and deleted scenes and extra stuff and like behind the scenes and all this extra content that you don't get with digital. Now if you buy the digital copy, and I say that with quotations because you don't actually buy it, you're buying the ability to watch it, but you don't actually own the media, which I think is another reason people are going back to physical media. There are sometimes a little bit of behind the scenes stuff that you can get with it as well, but it's not near to the level of when you buy physical media. And let's be honest, when you're watching physical media, whether you're watching it on the internet or watching physical media, you're still watching a movie, but you don't need the internet service. So the internet part allows you to be mobile and be, watching it wherever. But, there's gives and takes to both.
Cinema files, audio files, that category of people also love physical media because your streaming service that claims they're streaming in 4K is really not that good by comparison, not even close.
I had to pay for a used one from a smoking house, like several $100s to get like a really nice Philips Blu-ray player, I think. And it's so hard to even get something, unless you have a game console, which seems to be the cheapest way to actually have a Blu-ray player. It is hard to even find players for it. But I think Barnes & Nobles has a lot of Criterion Collection and Blu-rays that they host. But that's still, even Best Buy has stopped putting physical media, I think.
Mm-hmm. You can still buy them from a lot of places online, so you don't have to go somewhere. That's the best part is you can just buy them.
I've actually been trying to do that. So like right around the time of recording here, they had the 40th anniversary of Back to the Future, and I have Back to the Future in like a 4K release from years ago, but they re-released this huge freaking box set and all 4K with even extra behind the scenes that I don't have, on all these like little toy things and posters and like little pieces of memorabilia type stuff from the movies, all in this huge box set. And like it sold out like that. And then I got an email, like the email said like, it's back in stock. I was online looking for it within 5 minutes of that email arriving in my inbox, already sold out. I'm like, son of a bitch.
So I interrupted you, Mike, back there.
Oh, I can talk now?
You can talk now.
Back to what we were talking about. So,
well, so there's two things I want to say. One in favor of streaming and one of not in favor of Blockbuster and physical media. So I'll start with the latter. One of the things we haven't talked about yet is like the fact that going to a Blockbuster, renting movies, going next door to the pizza shop and grabbing pizza is like taking a part in your local economy.
Took you out of your house.
Yeah, you got to like be social, somewhat social, and like interact with people and give back to your local economy. That's something
the movie becomes more of an event versus just watching the movie.
And so that part of it is completely gone and sucks to have lost. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's like when you're absolutely right, because if I went to Blockbuster, I went across the street to the Barnes and Noble, I went up to the Taco Bell and got Taco Bell, I went to the Best Buy, and I went to the Circuit City, all in that area because it was like a little event. So yeah, absolutely right.
And then the other thing I wanted to say is the selection that you could get at a Blockbuster, even though that was amazing for the time, just completely pales in comparison to what you can find on streaming services. Like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't even know how many movies you can go to Netflix and find and play compared to where you would be able to go to like Blockbuster and have maybe 2,000 to pick from. And they were curated, sure.
I thought Netflix didn't even have that many movies right now.
Oh,
Like
I thought-
I thought it was
perception issue.
I thought it was less than what a Blockbuster typically.
No,
had.
they have
no way.
way more, but it's what I was talking about earlier. Like it's hard to find.
It's hard to
them.
find them but-
Because unless it's like everything they show on their main page is either a Netflix, special thing that they made, or it's some giant Blockbuster. It's very fucking hard to find anything on Netflix on the recommendations page. You have to know it's on there and search it out. So they have way more than they would have in a Blockbuster. It just doesn't seem that way because on your homepage you're only seeing like 50 different movies.
I will
Okay.
also say that
The U.S. library
Go ahead.
of Netflix is around 6,700 movies. Titles, 4,000 of which are movies. So actually, Blockbuster had, if it had 2,000,
It was about half. Okay,
it was
And-
not bad.
But that's also just Netflix, right? You're talking about
I'm,
all the.
I'm
all
only
these
talking
other
about Netflix.
services,
So
right?
there's Disney Plus and
Right.
like obviously bigger
and
ones
there's a
out
lot of
there.
competition in that area, and so that's why certain things go one way or the other. But then also, in a way, that y'all are going to totally disagree with me, but it's almost good for preservation that these digital pieces exist because of the fact that these stores wouldn't stock a lot of these older movies and whatnot because they're not going to sell.
See, I don't disagree with that. I just don't think we needed Netflix to have the digital versions because as a person who was downloading movies in like 1999, 2000 off IRC, we already had all that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We had all that 25 plus years ago. But yes, no, it is actually good because a lot of people do care about getting that stuff, and there is higher quality versions that are available of a lot of movies that weren't. A lot of transfers, a lot of the, like you mentioned Criterion, but there's tons of companies that now do that. And so like even these old movies from like, the 50s, 60s, 70s that nobody really even remembers, but were decent movies for their time are starting to get that kind of stuff. They're starting to get that kind of treatment. And I do love it. And it's because of the ease of access through like the streaming services. And they're all kind of trying to reach out and grab whatever they can. And one of the positives of that is actually some preservation of stuff that might not have been. So,
Okay. Well, I'm glad you weren't in total disagreement.
no.
No, like, I don't think any of us think there's anything bad about streamings. Well, not anything that they're not 100% bad streaming service, and there's not 100% bad with the actual physical media. They both have their pluses and minuses. Like a big plus for physical media is the fact that when you have it, you have it. Whereas with the streaming media, it's like, well, it was on Netflix, but now it's on Peacock. Nope, now it's not on Disney. Oh, nope, now it's over here. So if you want to watch it, you got to keep like jumping hoops and figuring out where it's at this time. And then even if you've bought it digitally, if they suddenly lose the rights to it, even though you paid for it, you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
So
And you might not even know these days which version they have.
Yeah.
Sometimes like we tried to watch, what was it, on Amazon Prime, actually mentioned Back to the Future, and the only version they had was some sort of crazy AI upscaled thing where they changed the aspect ratio and everything looks horrible. And I was like, Marcy, we can't watch this. We have to go find this elsewhere.
Avert
Where
your
it's like,
eyes.
yes, this is not the way you should experience this movie. It's horrible. So yeah, like
Has she never seen it before?
She'd never seen them before.
I've got the 4K discs.
Oh no, we watched them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went through it and she loved them. So
I was
yeah,
like, that's my favorite trilogy, hands down of all time. I will bring the discs over if I have to.
When we started out, that's what happened. I'm like, you cannot experience this movie this way.
You guys know that I like when there's certain movies come with it and they'll play the movie with the Kansas City Symphony. I go watch them. I've seen several movies with the symphony, but seeing Back to the Future and hearing that symphonic score played live, I literally started crying because I love that fucking movie so much.
Oh, look at the big baby Jeffrey.
Call it whatever you want. I
Baby.
love those fucking movies. I
is a
literally,
great
as of
experience.
this morning, started reading Future Boy by Michael J. Fox.
Oh,
So I love those fucking movies.
If anyone has a chance ever to watch any movie performed by your symphony orchestra while the movie's playing, I think the Star Wars A New Hope that way. Amazing, especially if it's a John
I saw
Williams
Empire
movie.
Strikes Back that way.
Yeah, John Williams movies, amazing.
Oh, yeah, well, I recently
But yeah.
saw Stardew Valley in concert.
Oh yeah, you saw Stardew Valley in concert.
Well, speaking of
Support
John
your
Williams,
local
I'm going to
movie.
see Raiders of the Lost Ark
Oh.
to the symphony here in like a month.
That's nice. It's really cool.
All right.
before we get to voting,
Yes,
I
that's
think
right.
we would be remiss if we didn't bring up the last Blockbuster.
The one in
There's
Oregon.
still one that exists, isn't there?
Yes, the
Portland,
last
Oregon.
Blockbuster that
Bend, Oregon.
exists.
Yeah, Bend, Oregon.
In Benton, Oregon, and it's the only one that's left, and they still license the Blockbuster trademark.
I thought the one in Oregon closed. I thought the last one was in like Alaska.
No. Dang it, my stuff's all. Here we go.
Sworn that
Is
one
it like a
closed.
museum now, basically?
Yeah, Bend, Oregon.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, they still rent. They still license the Blockbuster license from Blockbuster's owners, which are. Does anyone know?
Netflix.
Dish Network.
Dish has it now?
Dish Network owns the trademark
Dish
to
Network's
Blockbuster.
still a thing?
Yes.
So
yes.
Viacom probably sold it to Dish then towards
Yeah.
the end. Okay.
But yeah, it still exists. It still does the Blockbuster thing with the movie rental and stuff. And there's a documentary about it on Netflix of all places.
Yeah, no, I've seen that documentary. For some reason, I thought the last one was in Alaska, but no, I've watched that documentary.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the documentary. I really want to see it because I heard it's a really good one.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But it's funny, it's on Netflix.
Like I told you,
That is
when I said I've
ironic.
seen several documentaries about the downfall of Blockbuster,
Yeah.
I wasn't kidding. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
That's pretty ironic.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
All right, I guess we're here for voting. I'll go ahead and go first. So this is weirdly, despite the fact that I've been absolutely gushing over like my childhood experience with going through Blockbuster or with like the grocery store and then going to Blockbuster and being like, mecca of everything. And then even like what I mentioned earlier, like it wasn't just going to Blockbuster, it was the event. Like there's this whole area of Topeka that I never got to go see until we, usually went to go Blockbuster or one of the other places. And then we'd end up at Blockbuster. There was always a circular thing that would happen. And I loved that as a kid. However, the one thing that I do not miss from Blockbuster, which at the time, at least when I was there, was primarily VHS. And then I guess it went on, had DVDs and stuff like that. Like these days, it's easier to get, I guess, access to a lot higher quality movies. Where back then, like, even when you rented from Blockbuster, a lot of times the movie wouldn't look that good.
Or it wasn't
and stuff like that,
rewound.
or what, yeah, it wasn't rewound.
Be kind.
Or
Rewind.
there's problems and stuff like that, which you don't actually get with streaming unless your internet's crap, but that's kind of your own fault or your ISP's fault anyway. So like there's stuff like that where I'm just kind of like, was it as really good as I remember? But the whole event thing, the fact that I have so much attachment to not just the movies that influenced me during a lot of formative years and whatnot, just absolutely just love the whole experience of going there. I gotta say that the whole thing is still pretty cool, but I do think that there's a reason why there's only one Blockbuster left. So I have to actually vote nostalgia. So I think it's cool, but I have to vote nostalgia because I do not think it would work in 2025. No matter how like cool it looks, people aren't gonna go.
All right, who wants to go next?
I could go. So my story was completely different, right? In that it's just bootleggy.
He's like, bootleg videos are absolutely cool.
And I think it's still cool. Not Blockbuster, but the bootlegging part. Because
Especially in
people-
stealing media.
Especially in 2025 with all the fractured services.
Convenience is what is the mother of invention. Is also the killer of businesses. Is that it was it was easier to go to Netflix and get things, even if when it was renting and mailing you things, and now it's easier to go stream there. Maybe 5 years ago it was, but now everyone's up their prices. Everyone's $15 or so, and they still play ads, and so now the expensiveness has gone up.
Mine doesn't play ads because I pay more money to not
Yeah,
have
exactly. I pay more money to not have ads, and so
That's another
now
argument
just-
for physical media.
We just have broken up the movies that were on Netflix. Have now Disney Plus has, Disney has really invested, so they pulled all their Marvel stuff out of there. HBO is being thrown around like it's a who's gonna buy it next kind of thing, right? Like such a
Warner
nice
Brothers
catalog.
is up for sale.
Like such a beautiful, amazing catalog that is just being manhandled around without any home. So I still think physical media is cool. And if that may be in a store that brings people together and has some culture to it, then I think that's cool. I don't think they need to be 400 blockbusters again or any of it.
Would you go to, like, if we had a Blockbuster within 5 minutes of you, instead of going to Netflix?
If it had Blu-rays, I
you-
would go. But I would go to buy. I'm not renting.
Yeah, because
gonna buy
renting
it.
these days, it would probably be $15 per rental.
Which is like
which would be
$5
like,
more bucks and
which
I'll
would be
buy
like, well, $15 for Netflix for the month.
yeah.
I'm saying it's like, would you still go? And I'm like,
still-
I don't think I would.
So here's my reality.
I don't think I would.
I am still paying, even on sale, a Criterion Blu-ray is for me $25. And if it's a master set, then I'm probably $100 to $200. If it's like a 10 movie collection or something that I'm paying. Which is a reminder to everyone, Barnes & Nobles has a 50% off season when they have a lot of Criterion movies for 50% off. And it's a physical store.
Are we sponsored by Barnes and Noble?
No, but we could be. Barnes and Noble.
Reach out.
Reach out. So I would go, but only if they had a Blu-ray of it. Really, that's my thing is, or if it's an
And
event,
it's only for purchase.
if it's only for
You should probably start going
purchase.
to vintage stock.
Yeah, I should.
Vintage stock used to be like all kinds of all kinds of cool like old like toys, like actual vintage things, and now it's like 90% DVDs and music. So it's not like what
But
it
is it
used
Blu-rays?
to be. They have Blu-rays there too. So it's not. I don't go there much anymore because they're actual like vintage stock. It's like this little shelf in the corner and like nothing else. But for somebody that's just looking for like things like that, you could use them to browse as well to find new movies you haven't had before. But that might be a place for you to go find Blu-rays on the. They'll be used, but
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, so am I gonna? I already have Netflix, and if this movie is on something else, would I go rent that movie versus in a physical store? Versus, am I going to sign up and give my email and details and credit card information to Peacock, right? So in that case, I might pick to, I'm just going to go get this thing from
Well, in
the store.
2025, Blockbuster Video will probably be trying to get that same information.
They probably might be.
They probably have a credit card
So-
for you and all that stuff for your account.
I want more places that pirate things. I just, when people think I'm joking, like whenever I say, "Oh, you just adopted it," I was born in it, kind of joke is what I say.
you
about,
just adopted the doc.
yeah. I was born as a pirate. Is
Bred
when I'm
by
like, yeah, that was my source of all information was through piracy. And it existed because of these little stores that were not Blockbuster. Probably Blockbuster killed a whole bunch of those. But now it's their turn to be a little store. So I think it's cool in that they should exist. I don't think they need to exist in the scale of Blockbuster in its heyday. I just think that having it still has some value to the society.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go next. Yeah, I'm sorry, man, but it's totally nostalgia. Here's the thing. Like, I get the appeal, and I wish it were still a thing. Like, I'm like Mulder, freaking. I want to believe. I want to believe,
want
but I
to
can't
believe.
because one thing we haven't talked about is movie rentals still exists. You can digitally rent a movie from a lot of these services.
Right, yeah.
Usually $3 or $4. Not a lot of people do it. I don't do it. I go to Netflix. I go to freaking Paramount Plus.
I would say
Well, I
more
did
people do
do
it than
it.
you think, but
For this podcast, I did.
I've done it
several
a couple of times.
I don't.
I've
I don't
done
know
it.
how many people do, but I know for sure there's a greater number of people who are actually using streaming services instead.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah,
there
I
are,
probably
but
do.
there are
That's what I'm
absolutely
trying
people
to
that
say.
probably one of those you can't find it anywhere else, but you can rent it from like say Amazon or YouTube.
or maybe I want
And-
to watch it right now, and I don't want to wait for the however many months it's going to take for it to be on a streaming service. Because like
Right.
I've rented movies
Yeah,
digitally.
that
Yeah.
situation is the only time where I'll rent a movie.
Yeah, and all that being said too, we're trying to say that some physical store is going to come back up and say, "Hey, rent movies from us instead of your digital service." Instead, it's a hard sell. I wish the world were different, but I don't think it ever can be back to that situation that we were in back when we were kids. So
That's what they said about vinyl.
We'll see. We'll see. I would love to, this is one place where I would love to be wrong. But I think it's
I
totally
also just
nostalgia.
love the aesthetic, the branding.
Oh yeah.
I just love the branding. I think that's part of it too. I don't know. I don't think I'm alone there either. So yeah, I would love for that to just be a thing.
What is hilarious is of all the medias, sadly, VHS never seems to be able to make a comeback because it sucked.
It
It was not good.
It just kind of there's
not
so many
good.
ways in which it sucked, and it sucked too. Like it wasn't even the good. Like between it and like Betamax.
Yeah.
Betamax is so much better. VHS just won because it was cheaper.
Cheaper. Yeah.
Okay, so we got a nostalgia. Let's go.
We had two nostalgia.
well, he was the host, so his doesn't matter.
Well, fair enough.
Well, yeah.
Well,
I guess.
This is mine. I brought this, and I say that to be like, and like, well, these are yours. So like, each of us have a Blockbuster thing. I say this. I bought this specifically because like I miss Blockbuster so much. I wish these places still existed to be actually go up there and find a movie and rent it, because like I've said, like these are the places that you discovered random nonsense that you would never know about otherwise. And I could get that from the library now too, but normally I'm like online there. I'm not like actually in the library flipping through stuff. I'm on their online portal, and I will like search through there and find like random things. But it's just not the same doing it online versus being inside, searching through things. And the library
I had a
is
question for you on that. Did they have foreign movie section where you didn't know what the heck they were?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, okay.
yeah. They had all
That's
kinds of
also
stuff.
really
It
hard
wasn't
these
very
days.
big. They also
Yeah.
had a big section for
Yeah.
anime, and I had no clue what anime was.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought they were just cartoons, but I was like, those look weird, and like, oh, but this is like an R-rated anime.
was like,
I'm like,
how
oh,
is that?
I can't watch
Flipping
that.
through stuff like this is how the
Okay.
first time I found heavy metal.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's how I found it, just flipping through random things. I'm like, what is this? But I'm like, to me, like we don't have that anymore. Like anywhere to just stumble across something. Really, the closest I said, like YouTube, I have to stumble across a trailer, but it just happens to show up. I can't just type in like movie trailers and look, because like YouTube used to have like a movies section, but when you actually pull that up, like it was the same trailers, they're only brand new trailers, and then you get like 15 videos down, and it's all like Minecraft shit. I'm like, those aren't movie trailers. So like you lose that, and then you lose the social aspect that you were talking. Well, somebody was talking about how you go up there and like somebody can like talk to you about like, oh well, this movie, like if you like this, you probably like this over here. I wish we could have a place that still had that kind of like recommendation system as well, beyond just I'm sitting at my computer and
An
trying to
algorithm
find things.
of recommended.
Yeah. It's like somebody who's just like a movie connoisseur and be like, oh, if you're interested in that, you probably like this, and this as well. And we don't have that anymore. I really miss it. And I wish we could have it. That being said, this is absolutely fucking nostalgia. Because like I have great memories of this, and like I said that place that had this, and I was like, we should go do that sometime. I said that for like 3 fucking years. We never went, and the place closed. But I still wish it existed. I still want to have that place to go do it. But I think in modern times, it has to be like adjusted to where it can fit with what people want today, where it's not just, I'm walking into a store to rent a movie. There's got to be some other aspect to it. It's got to be some kind of social aspect to it. It's like almost like if it's like some kind of like movie cafe where you're going there to socialize with other movie lovers.
Like a theater?
No, not a theater, because you're not supposed to talk during the movie. But you're like socializing with other movie
Alamo
lovers.
Draft House.
And like you're going, yeah,
Draft
this
House,
movie over here, you should check that. And so it becomes like a social aspect to it as well. So there's more than just like, I'm going to rent a movie. And it allows you to discover these things. I think there is a way this could be done, because like, record stores are popping back up, and in the age of like, you can just stream any song online that you want. But these record stores are these hubs where people go and hang out and discover new music. Why can't we do that with movies as well? I think there's a way that it could be done, but yes, Blockbuster is definitely
Probably needs to be
nostalgia.
some sort of cultural shift.
I think
and-
like you're saying, with the fragmentation that's happening, the quality going down, and the
Prices going up.
ads going up, and the prices going up, all these things happening, maybe it reaches a boiling point to where from the ashes, something will rise. And that thing's probably not going to be a Blockbuster.
Blockflix. Blockflix comes out.
Maybe Dish
And
will revive Blockbuster.
It's like a amalgamation of Netflix and Blockbuster. We end up getting some sort of service that lets you have physical media, but then you can also watch it and like other stuff, and like you can go and hang out. And
but I think what they're going to have to do is like
something, I don't know,
to actually make something like this work. You're probably going to have to say any movie that's been made in the last 10 years is not going to be in this store. It has to be 10 plus years old before it's
so it's got to feed
up.
on the nostalgia.
Because like think about it. Anyone that's going, like I mentioned Fantastic Four earlier, are you going to really go to like some kind of place that's meant to hang out and talk movies and like discover new things to discover the new Fantastic Four movie?
That's plastered all over the place.
Yeah. And it just got released on Disney Plus. Why would you want to go? So this is a place to discover things that aren't the big budget things that are just thrown in your face, advertised like crazy, that aren't brand new movies.
So what you're talking about
is take it and feel like it's a music shop with old vinyl.
So what you're talking about is the music shops with old vinyls that are everywhere. That are everywhere now.
If you think about what is it,
give it a decade or two.
Yeah, what is it catering to, right? Like before, it was all about easy access to movies. We already have that now. What is missing is the social element of it. What is missing is there's having an event, having a night of like, hey, we're going to do this. Why don't you come guys here? So it has to be that. There has to be some of that. That's what's missing. And if it caters to that, then that's got real space. If it tries to come back and be like, where's the same rental space? Come rent here. And no one's going to show up. That's already solved. But
there's some places that I think are trying to do that. That movie theater that I love, that we went and watched, like Starship Troopers, all that kind of stuff.
Screenland Armor.
Screenland Armor.
Yeah, they I think they're trying to do a little bit of that, but they're a movie theater first that are trying to like find unique ways to get people into the theater versus a movie rental store. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a place for it. You just have to come at it right.
Heck, if they actually had like for older movies where they had like the DVDs or even old VHSs and stuff like that set up along with their bar set up and the movie theaters, I think that'd be perfect. That'd be a fun.
They have a 90s bar downstairs that has like a Blockbuster-ish kind of thing in there, but the bar is kind of like
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
But
okay, lead us out, man.
I think we said our piece on this. Pretty much, this was a good walk down nostalgia's lane. I would say is like outside of Andy. I mean, I think we all agree it's cool.
It was
cool.
Yeah, cool.
I think we all, like most of us anyway, still like the idea of it.
Yeah, in our brains, we want it to be cool, but I think most of us are realistic that we probably wouldn't go there today, or it'd be a hard sell. Like you'd have to do like what Andy pointed out, where I'm going there for this specific thing, and that's what I'm doing it for, or have some sort of like, bar situation or something like that. Those just don't exist yet. We do have the record, like the vinyls and stuff like that, and even a lot of the vinyl places are doing CDs. CDs are making kind of a comeback. So why not movies? Yeah. Get the old DVDs, get Blu-ray stuff like that. Once they've had like 20, 30, 40 years even to settle, we might start getting that. And that'd be pretty fantastic, I think. Be a good, fun place to go hang out. But anyway, I think we are pretty much mostly aligned where it's cool, but also nostalgic at the same time. So yeah, that was today's episode, everybody. I guess I will go ahead and say bye. And this is Michael.
The Deuce. Like and subscribe.
Andy.
Jeffrey. All right. Well, Nostalgia Hunters, take care. And as always, remember to be kind and rewind.
Yeah.